My Lord Mayor, Lady Mayoress, councillors, esteemed guests and friends. May I welcome you here today for this, our 30th anniversary. It's, if I'm not mistaken, I think 30 stands for Pearl. So it's our Pearl anniversary. I also noted that our diamond is in another 30 years. I put it down in my 30-year calendar. I'll only be 104, but I'm looking forward to being there in 30 years' time. But let's come back to the present day. And in fact, let's just go back a little bit in history. So before I formally and informally welcome the Lord Mayor and Lady Mayoress, I just want to pick out some historical parts that maybe you all remember going back 30 years. So, in 1995, organised by a group called Churches Together in the Moor, Allerton and Shadwell area, there was a growing need for older people, and MAECare was formed. It was formed with one member of staff, Carol Gorston. I don't know her, but she was the one member who was the MAECare one and only. Just a couple of things about the time frame up to the present day. In the late 90s, local activities included volunteer transport group, and you know what? That hasn't really changed today. We still have our volunteer transport volunteers, and some of you will have been brought by them. So, going back 30 years, there was a need for volunteer transport. In 1996, there was the Old Woodley Park Lunch Club. And again, going back that time, there was a need for a lunch club. There's still lunch clubs going on today, slightly different, but still the need for lunch clubs. And in, I love this one, 1997, there was the Winter Warmers Project. Now I know today, with things difficult and different things occur, our winter programme includes having a hot breakfast during the winter and providing, warmth and care, as well as many organisations do in Leeds. But in 1997, MAECare originated the Winter Warmers Project, and that was the sale of thermal vests and underwear. Maybe we might need to bring that into the present day, I'm not quite sure. In 2001, there was a stroke club set up by Meanwood Neighbour Elders. And in 2001, the MAECare moved from St Stephen's Vestry to Northcourt, wherever that may well be. I'm not quite sure where Northcourt was, but in 2001 it moved to Northcourt. And then in 2003, it went to its present home, which is Crammer Bank, and expanding into 57A Crammer Bank in 2015. In 2003, it became a registered charitable company, and in 2008, it became an independent charity and a limited company. What about some of the people throughout the 30 years? Well, first of all, we mentioned Carol in 1995. And I'm delighted, in 2010, a lady by the name of, and a lot of people will know her, Carol Burns, who is here today. 2010, Carol was appointed project manager at MAECare, and I want to thank her in particular for her work and the shaping of MAECare throughout her time up until 2018. In July 2018, Julia Edmonds, who unfortunately can't be here today, she was called for an eye operation. She's been waiting for many months, and as life has it, it was done a couple of days ago, so she is recovering, but we wish her a quick recovery. And she joined in 2018 and I want here to pay tribute to all the staff at MAECare, which is Julie, Carol, Batch, Anne-Marie, Adrian, Becky, Geraldine and Amber, all who do fantastic jobs. In 2020, we came across, unfortunately, the pandemic and COVID, and things changed dramatically. We lost some of our members. Some of our members, after COVID, didn't want to come out to activities, and it's been a really slow process trying to get people back to MAECare, back to activities, whether it be other activities in Leeds City Council or whatever. But we're getting there, and I think it's important that, you know, we get over the situation, although COVID is still probably with us, but we're all getting our vaccinations and getting on with the job at hand. That's the important thing. MAECare is also a neighbourhood network. It's one of the 37 neighbourhood networks throughout Leeds. And the other thing is, although we are more elderly care, the nice thing is that we kept on having discussions and we're not a care home. We're not a care home. So the strapline changed in 2024, and you see it on all the information that we send out. It is more Allerton, everyone cares, and I think that's a lovely sort of thought in that way. I think the important thing is that our mission statement, and I didn't read it at the beginning, our mission statement has not changed in the 30 years. Our mission statement is to help people of all ages, and that's all we can do. How we help them has changed over the 30 years. But it won't ever change in the sense that's all MAECare wants to do, tries to do, and will continue doing, I think, for another 30 years. I want to now turn to our guest of honour. So I'm delighted to welcome formally, and on this occasion informally, our Lord Mayor. The Lord Mayor I was going to say the Lord Mayor, but Councillor Dan Cohen was elected Leeds City Councillor in 2011. And he was elected the 131st Lord Mayor in May of this year. I'm not quite sure if the first Lord Mayor, a gentleman by the name of Sir James Kitson in 1897, realised that 131 years later, Councillor Dan Cohen would be the Lord Mayor. It probably wasn't in his thoughts, but there you are. It shows you that being the Lord Mayor is our #1 citizen in Leeds. And I think I can say, from all of us here, we are proud, Dan, that you are the Lord Mayor.
Yeah.
What makes it more informal is that, of course, Dan is the Leeds City Councillor for Woodley. So, to many of you, and I noticed when we came in, you know him personally. He's visited MAECare on many, many occasions. He's a good friend to MAECare, and through good times and sometimes not the best times due to different things, he's always been there with us, and we appreciate all the work that Dan does as a councillor, but also for the honour of being Lord Mayor. And I just want to point out at this time, I want to thank all 6 councillors from Woodley and from Moortown for their unstinting help to what they do on behalf of MAECare. It is truly appreciated.
Yeah.
Will you please welcome the Lord Mayor?
Good morning, everybody, and Howard, thank you very much indeed for those words of introduction. May I be completely honest from the very outset? This is one of the most nerve-wracking things I've had to do as Lord Mayor so far. And the reason it is quite so nerve-wracking is threefold. Number one, I've known many people in this room for many years. And therefore, any time I say, when I go over to Hunslet, no one really knows me. And therefore, it's easier sometimes when you don't know people. But here, most of you have known me for 10, 15, and in some years longer years. So that's always a bit more nerve-wracking. Number two, Howard has known me since I was a baby. And I'm always terrified he's going to bring out some really embarrassing when you were two story. So thank you for not doing that. And number three, just over there as I walked in, my amazing ward colleagues, Lynn and Neil Buckley are here. Lynn is like the big boss in Old Woodley of the three of us. And therefore, I feel like I'm under special scrutiny today, as it's the first time I think I've done an event where Lynn's been watching what I'm doing, and I expect to report card later on as to how I've been. So thank you all. May I say how amazing it is to see the turnout today, and thank goodness we're in this amazing ACA venue where we can fit so many of us in so comfortably. I saw the calendar just a moment before, and on the front page of the calendar, I saw one of my former ward colleagues, the amazing Peter Howard. Peter was a long-standing advocate for MAECare. He was incredibly passionate about MAECare and the work that I'm going to say we do as part of the extended MAECare team. Peter used to say something incredibly powerful. He used to say, the key to good mental health, the key to living well, is the one to the front door. In fact, I think I heard him say it at about 5 MAECare annual events. And he's absolutely right. The key to living well is the one to the front door. But there has to be somewhere to go. There has to be something to do when you come through that front door. And for 30 years, that is exactly what MAECare has done. That is what MAECare has been. One of my own personal, and I know you should never have favourites, I know that. But one of my own personal favourite projects was something MAECare used to do, which was a poetry project. Where people would get together and effectively put together a small book of poems that they created, or creative writing, or some kind of writing project, and then do a performance of these pieces. And they did that for several years, and it really was heartwarming and educational, and an amazing experience to share these thoughts with MAECare clients and people who've taken part in this project. I don't know if anyone here today took part in it. Did anyone here take part in that project? No? So they're probably performing at the Playhouse today. But what is amazing, I used the word amazing like 4 times, we're going to use a different word soon. What's really heartwarming is the number of people each year that MAECare reach. Because each year, nearly 1,000 people are impacted by the work that MAECare do. Impacted to be able to come out and meet other people. Impacted to help other people. Impacted to improve their people's lives and well-being and outcomes in so many different ways to give people a reason to use that front door. From selling thermal vests and underwear, and Howard, I was worried you were going to model something for us there, so I was grateful you didn't. It's not before we eat. Maybe after. But from that to a poetry project, to driving schemes, to friendship clubs, to walking football, to so many other events. And none of those things could happen without amazing staff, Carol and Julia, without amazing volunteers, some of whom start as client users who start coming along to a club and think, oh, maybe we could do this, and they start a project. Trustees like Howard, who've been on for many years and have said, actually, we're going to step up and take over to chair for a while and take on to the next phase. When I became Lord Mayor, I set out with a number of goals, and one of them was to say thank you. Thank you to the many organisations in our city that make our city what it is. In MAECare's case, one of the best cities to grow older in. Not grow old, to grow older in. And MAECare have absolutely done that for 30 years, over the past 15 years as I've been one of our amazing Old Woodley councillors. I used the word amazing again. I have seen firsthand that work, and it has been an absolute privilege. And so, on behalf of the city, to everybody involved in MAECare in whatever way, I want to say a huge thank you. Would you join me please in giving a huge round of applause?